Okay, my turn.
I am the Hulk. I am Abomination.
Oh, I'm the Hulk. I'm so sad. I don't know how to defend myself. My clothes.
Jarvis, turn on freaky mode for me.
Yo, yo, yo.
It's your boy, the genius billionaire playboy philanthropist here. It's to start off, come on guys. We all hate Overwatch. We all know it. Overwatch is fucking shit. But since today's recording, it's been a couple of days since the beta for Overwatch Rivals has ended. And I gotta say, I'm in love with Marvel Rivals. I'm in love with it. I love it. But to be actually serious, I am such a big fan of this game. All the characters, all the gameplay, all the abilities, everything, literally everything, even the dialogue and the character interactions with each other. Oh my god, don't even get me started on the art style. Oh my, the art style is so amazing. It's so
Holy mother of God!
like, this is just the beta. Just imagine what the full game is like. And even the beta is literally so much fun. It has every single playstyle you could ever imagine. There is not a single character that you will not like. And at the time this is recording, about 20-ish heroes have been revealed to us. And I could just think of the other Marvel characters that can come into this game. Like we have Deadpool, Wolverine. Since that new movie came out, we could literally have anyone. Any of the X-Men, any of the Avengers. I'm geeking out here. I'm geeking out. Now, if you couldn't tell already, I'm a huge Marvel fan. Like, I don't read much of the comics. I just listen to like some of the comic readings and summaries, mostly from that one YouTuber, Comic Story. And unfortunately, he passed away, which really sad. I miss him. He's one of the greats. But back again to Marvel Rivals. This game is about to be something really huge. It might even overtake Overwatch in being the best team fighter, shooter, whatever you want to call it. Now, what I want to do here today is just give a brief synopsis of the characters and gameplay and all the stuff in this game because it's packed. It's actually so packed that it's great. It's just amazing. Now, enough of me glazing this fucking game because it's starting to sound like I'm romantically interested in this game. Now, here on out, I'll be describing Marvel Rivals with Overwatch terms just to make things easier since this game mostly replicates Overwatch and the types of characters they use. Now, to get started, Marvel Rivals is a 6v6 TPS third-person shooter, unlike Overwatch where it's a first-person only. Now, you may not think this, but the change of perspective can have a huge effect in gameplay, where in FPSs, you don't know who's behind you or anything. You just have, like, the only field of view is just in front of you, and you have to rely heavily on someone not sneaking up behind you. Whereas in a TPS, a third-person, you have a larger field of view and you have like a little bit of space to look behind you, and it gives you more space to be more socially aware with who's who and who's where. So that really changes the whole gameplay of the whole game compared to Overwatch. Now keep this in mind, I don't really have that much experience with Overwatch. I haven't even played Overwatch 1 when it first came out, but as for right now, I only have a couple few hundred hours in the game, and that's like a couple few months playing here and there, and I haven't really played much of any of the characters, just like a few handful of them, only because I've gotten so attached to most of them that I just don't want to let go of them and just try a new character. Because I'm turned to a fucking pussy. Once you touch Malga, you'll never let go. You'll never let go. Never. Now, some of you know Overwatch 1 was a 6v6 like Marvel Rivals right now, but today in Overwatch 2, they made it into a 5v5, which drastically changed the whole flow of the game, and so many changes had to be implemented into the game. I can't even go through it all. But essentially, almost all the characters in Overwatch 2 had to be reworked for the 5v5 scenario.
And it's sort of the reason why it's kind of shit right now. I won't lie.
Now, as for how good I am at this game, you can just look at my gameplay and my past videos. I'm no champion, and I don't want to be because I don't want to stink. Now let's get into the actual game. So Marvel Rivals, such as Overwatch, has 3 classes of heroes, that being Vanguard, Duelist, and Strategist. Now in that order, in Overwatch, it would be Tank, DPS, that being short for damage, and Healer. Now to describe them, if they haven't been obvious enough, tanks are the big, bulky types of heroes that take in most of the damage, who have high HP and high damage. Where if you were a damage character or a healer, you would try your best to avoid them and try to just attack them with your teammates. And it's definitely not someone you should be trying to fight by yourself. Now, as for the damage characters, some of them have high or low HP, it just depends on the character, but they're the ones that are going to do most of the killing with the tank, and they're going to be giving out most of the damage around the whole game. Now, that might sound similar to tanks, except they're just weaker, but most of the damage characters are quicker and have some unique ability that makes them very dangerous to deal with, and they're going to be most of the ones trying to take out the healers and the other enemy teammates for the tank, or in some cases, just taking out the whole team. But yeah, moving on from that, we have the healers. I don't know how much obvious you get for that. you're the guy who's healing all the other players on your team, while also sometimes damaging the other players on the enemy team. Now, with all these classes together, they work wonderfully in a team effort, and everyone benefits off each other, which makes these games so much fun to play. Now, finally, let's get into the heroes, which is the fucking favorite part of mine. I'm so happy! So starting off, I'm gonna go through class, so basically tank, damage, and healer, and I'll be going at a somewhat random assortment of them as I talk about them. Now, the way Marvel Rivals is different from Overwatch is with its team-up based type of system, where if you specifically choose a team with your other teammates, it can unlock and give more abilities and give more buffs. And most of the team-ups include characters involved in the same franchise or in their same type of hero group within the comics and the movies. Like, for instance, we have Spider-Man, Venom, and Penny Parker. All three of them are connected into the spider fucking multiverse, into the Spider-Verse, that group. And then we have the characters involved with the Guardians of the Galaxy, that being Star-Lord, Mantis, and Adam Warlock. Or in each team up, it gives a different type of buff or new ability to each character. Or with Spider-Man, Venom, and Penny Parker, both Spider-Man and Penny Parker have the symbiote inside them, which gives them like a radius type of attack, or if any enemy is standing near them, they just take damage from the symbiote throwing spikes out. Whereas for Venom, I think it just gives them like a slight heal buff, which is not really much, but it's something good. But with Adam Warlock and Mantis and Star-Lord, the Guardians, it gives all three of them the ability to just respawn nearby where they died. But with Adam Warlock, I'm pretty sure it just gives him just a healing buff when he heals the others. Now, in the near future, I'm pretty sure these team-ups are going to be essential in like the esports type of game or competitive scene, and there's going to be a huge meta with these team-ups. So starting off, we have Bruce Banner, aka the Hulk. He's going to be one of your starting characters that you're going to be playing as, or just one of the few beginner-friendly type of characters. Now, Bruce has 3 types of transformations. He starts off in his weak human form with only a gun, but he's able to transform into the Hulk at will. So at the start of the game, you could just turn into Hulk automatically. You don't have to wait for anything. He's sort of a diva type of character. Now, just to preface this, I will be referring to characters as their Overwatch variant, just so some people can understand what some characters are like. But I'll be honest, Hulk isn't really that good of a character. Well, as for my gameplay and from others I've seen, he's really not that good. He'll be taking most of the damage from basically everyone, and when all of Hulk's HP is over, he'll transform back into Bruce Banner. And from there, 9 times out of 10, everyone's gonna be kicking his fucking balls. But some stuff I do like about him is his mobility. If you've ever seen the 2005 Ang Lee Hulk, you remember the leaping scene where he's in the desert and jumping fucking miles across the desert? Hulk can do that in this game, where it's not as far, but it's really far compared to other characters. It makes you go quick all throughout the map. Now, as far as ultimate, which is something every characters have that you have to build up in order to use, it's basically a press to win button for some of the characters, not all of them. Now, as for the Hulk, he can transform into Monster Hulk when he uses his ult. Now, if you've ever seen Avengers Age of Ultron, you know that one scene where Hulk becomes all schizo, and then Iron Man has to come in with the Hulk Buster, just beat the fuck out of him.
Go to sleep, go to sleep, go to sleep.
Yeah, that's basically this character, where all of his abilities are enhanced and he has so much more damage. But just like regular Hulk, he is easy to deal with. Just make sure you're not close to him, or else he does this one move that he does in Avengers, where he's slamming Loki across the fucking room. And it's pretty much almost all the time an insta-kill. I really don't know if it is. But some of other Hulk's abilities are just a one range ability, which basically just stuns the character that he slams his hands with. And then this other ability, which gives other characters around him a gamma shield that blocks incoming damage to them. The next character, which is Doctor Strange, I gotta say, he's my fucking favorite character. I love him. I love Doctor Strange. Now, Dr. Stephen Strange has a cool twist where the more damage you give to other characters, it builds up dark magic inside you that you have to release, where when you do release it, it can also damage characters around you. And so it makes it so you have to play somewhat close to the other enemy characters. And the combos you can do with that, it's exquisite. It's just amazing. I love it. One of his main abilities that you're going to be using too is this whole fucking shield. It's so huge, you have no idea. This character somewhat resembles Reinhardt from Overwatch with his huge shield. But I gotta say, Dr. Stephen Strange is so much better. He is so much better. Using his shield on the payload objective, it's so good. You can just block all the fucking incoming projectiles for your team. It makes it so you get progress so much easier. Now, if somehow you have some shit team, you can literally just TP your way into the fucking objective. It makes overtime so much fucking easier for your team. Now, keep in mind, this TP, it opens up a portal which your whole team can use. So you can just strategize and just come in together as a team. You can come from this guy. You can come from anywhere. I'm gonna go.
You's a freaky ass nigga.
It makes flanking the enemy team so much fun. And that's not his only ability that he has. He can also go into the sky and float, which it's a hit or miss. It just depends on what characters the enemy team is using. Which, if they're using any flying characters or snipers, you're toast. Now, as for his ult, I gotta say, I love it. I love it. When you have a whole group of enemy players together, you just open up which makes enemy player controls fucking non-existent. You can't touch your keyboard. Get your hands off the keyboard. And it gives you and your team free kills. Also, I don't know if this is true or not, but the voice actor for Doctor Strange sort of sounds like Gara. Hold on, let me go look up real quick. Oh, it is. Neat. Now just imagine a fucking Doctor Stephen Strange skin with a goddamn sand gourd on his back. Moving on after that, we have Groot, where every single one of his lines is I am Groot, which fits well into his canon. Now, Groot has a very huge learning curve, mostly because his abilities include making walls, which either blocks or prevents an enemy team from retreating back, which can make scenarios really funny. If an enemy team is trying to retreat back to their team, and you just fucking block him from going back, and your team just fucking fucks him up while he's over there panicking. Now, as for Groot's ult, it's pretty much the same as Doctor Strange's ult, where it freezes nearby enemies. But the only difference with the Groot and Doctor Strange is where the enemies can actually attack and use their abilities, so their plane controls aren't really removed. It's just that they're immobilized. Now, one of the best parts about Groot is his team-up ability with both Rocket and Jeff, where either one of the characters can get on top of Groot, such as in the movies, in the comics, where they just stand on top of Groot while Groot just controls where they move. It's so cute, man. It's so fucking amazing. And the person on top can either heal or just attack with Groot. Now, it can make it harder for the enemy team to decide who to shoot or attack with both Groot and either Jeff or Rocket on top of him. Plus, on top of that, the person on top is always going to be a healer, and they could just consistently be healing Groot while Groot just deals all the damage. But yeah, really fun character to play as if you know what you're doing. Now moving on, we got Magneto. I don't know why I said that.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
Now, Magneto is a pretty slow character, but he makes it up with his very high damage and very high defense. Like, his defense abilities are just top notch. He can make a bubble shield for either himself or one of his teammates, which is practically the same as the whole Gamma shield, but you can just target whoever you want to have that shield specifically. Now, on top of that, you also have a shield that you put out almost like Doctor Strange's shield, but just a bit smaller, and it stops all incoming projectiles. Now, for me, Magneto sort of resembles a little bit of Sigma. What the Sigma? From Overwatch. What the fuck?
What the Sigma? What the Sigma? Bro.
What the Sigma?
Where he's essentially always floating in the air, throws little balls of shit to other people, and also has his own shield. Now, as for Magneto's ult, it's either hit or miss. It just depends if you know how to use it or know the right time to use it. You essentially just go up in the air, charge up a fucking huge ball of metal, and just slam into the ground, and pray to God that people are just near it, and they don't run away when you use your ult.
Magneto!
But I gotta say, Magneto has had one of the most overpowered team abilities with the Scarlet Witch. Essentially what they do together is that Scarlet Witch enhances Magneto's powers, wherein if they're both on the same team, Magneto gets a new ability where Magneto is able to construct a sword and just slash enemies, and even a projectile just comes off when Magneto slashes his sword. That fucking sword is actually so broken. It can literally just fucking 3-shot tanks. I am not even kidding. And it lasts for a long time, and it doesn't take long for it to recharge. Magneto and Scarlet Witch, that's the way to go. Now into Penny Parker. To be honest, she's either win or lose. It sort of depends on the game mode and the map and the enemy players, because her abilities are all over the place and I'm not really all too good with them, or just anyone I've played with weren't really too great at using her. Now, Penny, she shoots out these cybernetic type of webs out of her mech. This is literally just a fucking copy paste of Diva. Except when you do damage her mech, she just dies. She doesn't just come out of her mech. She literally just fucking dies and has to respawn. Now, with her webs, Penny can immobilize other enemy characters for a brief moment. And she can even use the webs to spiderweb onto them and just stick onto them as a escape or vantage point. Since Penny can't really stick onto the walls like Venom or Spider-Man, she can only run onto them. So I'm guessing that's the only reason why she has her webs. And then another part of Penny Parker is her spider bots, wherein they act as landmines and are just a real nuisance to deal with. Now, Penny can either just manually put down a mine, spider bot, or just put down a structure where it just spawns in spider bots in a certain area where it's essential for the enemy team to just destroy it if you want to make any progress. But as for the team ability with Venom and Penny Parker, I'm not a huge fan of it. It doesn't really work well with Penny since she's much of a ranged character than she is up close, unlike Spider-Man, which I will talk about later. But to me, it sort of feels more like a get away from me type of ability. But yeah, moving on from that, we have her ult. Her ult is a press to lose button. It is literally just that you press it and everyone is coming after your act and you are done for. If you want your team to win, do not press the ult button on Penny Parker. You're going to die. Now, what she does is she becomes, how do I say this? Acoustic. She becomes more quicker and agile. Or she can either spawn in an infinite amount of spider bots or just slash enemies, which sort of just knocks them back. But if you have a bunch of ranged characters, yeah, she's fucking done for. Literally just don't use her ult. Now. Moving on to Venom. Venom has to be the greatest Vanguard or tank character you can ever play. In Overwatch terms, Venom is basically Wrecking Ball. Yeah, that's pretty much it. He's just fucking Wrecking Ball. Except you don't want to squeeze the fucking life out of that goddamn hamster. Now, Venom has a insane HP manipulation where you can just give yourself free instant HP with just a fucking snap of a button. Like, done.
It would be so awesome. It would be so cool.
It's so useful when you're like 1 HP and you just fucking give yourself free HP and then the enemy team is fucking panicking. It's a lose-lose every single time. And the cooldown for that, I'm pretty sure it's like 10 seconds. That is not a long time. Killing Venom while you're playing a good Venom is practically an impossible task. You cannot kill him, especially since he has a great maneuverability, basically like Spider-Man, where he can just swing away with just a press of a button. Like, oop, I'm about to die. And then you just fucking Spider-Man off the goddamn horizon. And as I stated before, Venom can stick onto the walls and run across them, which is great for like flanking and sneaking up onto the enemies. And when you're on a wall or just in the air, you can slam into the ground into like a group of enemies. And just sends them flying up into the air. Wherein with his other ability, which is just his tendrils, where you just pull people in. It's not really pull them in, it just slows them down. It makes it great for a good combo. I'll be honest, he is a fucking troll and I love it. And what makes it even better is his ult. I won't lie, it's not that good, but it's a third free HP button where you just go into the ground and just fucking eat people up and then you just get more HP. Just incredible. Just amazing. Now onto Thor. I didn't really play much as him since he only came in halfway into the beta alongside with Jeff, but I did get to see great usage of Thor. So Thor has this sort of gimmick where he has 3 hammers, which is essentially 3 abilities you can use at a time, where you have to let it cool down, and when it recharges, you're able to use an ability. And with that, Thor can be a very, very aggressive character to play against. Like, I advise you, if you're playing against a Thor, do not get near him. He will fucking kill you. But as a PSA in the future, just don't throw the fucking hammer unless they buff it. But just don't throw the hammer. It does literally no damage. It does nothing. Now, if you let Thor charge all 3 of his hammers, you're able to go in this state where you're just high on damage and you can just do range attacks. And yeah, you just don't want to be near him again. Thor also has great maneuverability where he's able to spin his hammer and throw it just like in the comics and the movies. And then he's able to fly wherever he wants. Well, not really fly, just slingshot himself. But as for his ult, it's essentially just the same as Magneto's, except when you go into the air, the people below you actually take damage from like the little lightning strikes. And when you land, it just does a huge shockwave that if you're under there, it's pretty much just a insta-kill. But you know when you hear it, just to run away.
I am the god of thunder!
Now those are all the tank slash Vanguard characters. For the lineup, it's looking amazing.
Why so serious?
Now I'm going to move on to the damage characters. And the first one I'm going to be starting with is with the Punisher.
The Punisher.
Punisher is one of the best damage characters that there is. He has the best range, the best close-up range, and the playability of him is amazing. So what Punisher has, he has two guns, an assault rifle and a shotgun. Assault rifle for range and shotgun for close-up. The assault rifle can just take care of any flying character that there is. And the shotgun is so broken. It doesn't matter if you're fucking miles away, the shotgun will eat you away. I am serious. I'd even say just don't pull out your assault rifle. That thing is useless compared to the shotgun. Now, as for his other abilities, he has a turret station type of thing where he hunkers down wherever he wants to and uses a minigun to shoot other players, which it just eats away people too. And it's such a nuisance that you're basically required to take that turret down if you want to get any progress of whatever objective you're doing. Now, an insane ability that Punisher has is with Rocket, where Rocket can just put down an infinite ammo station, or this is the only time the assault rifle is going to matter, but it's in the name. You can just non-stop just keep on shooting without having the need to reload. The Punisher also has great mobility where he looks out where he wants to go and just throws a zipline to just zipline over to where he wants to go. Although I kind of wish other characters could use the zipline because the zipline just stays there, but no other character can use it besides the Punisher. Now, as for his ultimate, it has to be the best ultimate out of all the characters, or just DPS characters. So the Punisher gets two miniguns on each hand and a turret on the back of his head where it just locks on, I'm pretty sure, it just shoots missiles. And holy shit, you do not want to be in his sight at all. You look at the Punisher wrong, you are dead. You are just fucking dead. Now, just as advice, if you do hear him do his
Judge, jury, executioner
ultimate voice line, run away and coordinate an attack on him because he is going to fuck you guys up. But to state it again, the Punisher is so fucking OP. Now after that we have Iron Man, the one and only Tony Stark. Now Iron Man is one of the very few flying characters there is in this game. And because of that, it makes him stand out more as a target, but is a lot more harder with his X, Y, Z movement. Now, as for his flying, his standard flying is slow, but that's why we have a boost ability, which makes you just fucking zoom in the sky, which is most often used in like the beginning of a round or just to get the fuck out of a scenario. Now, I'll be honest, Iron Man is a very brain dead character if you're gonna play him offensively. One of the reasons for that is for his repulse fire. You don't really have to aim, mostly because it has splash damage. So yeah, just aim it around the general direction of whoever you're shooting at. But Tony doesn't only have just the repulse fire, he also has the chest fire, which is just a straight single beam that you laser onto your opponents. And its primary use, I would say, is just for like single use enemies, like just to pick people off. It does a lot of damage. It's very useful when you're fighting other flying characters or hovering, since all you have to do is just keep your cursor on them, which shouldn't be hard. Now, as for his other abilities, he's able to charge up and increase the damage of all of his arsenal weapons. And I'd say it's best to use in like huge groups with your repulse fire. So you just fucking power yourself up and just fucking shoot onto a huge pile of enemies. And you can pretty much just rack up kills. Now, onto his ult. His ult is pretty good. It's basically the same as Magneto, where you charge up something and then you just fucking slam it onto the ground. It's pretty much the same for Iron Man 2, where he builds up his repulse fire and just fucking shoots it onto the ground. But to me, this sort of feels a little bit better than Magneto's, sort of because the radius is better and it's easier for quick kills. And even though there's an indication of when Iron Man is going to do his ult with his voice line of maximum, it's going to be a little bit hard to get out of his range, and sometimes it can even feel a little bit broken. But if you're playing against the Iron Man on the enemy team, he can be very annoying. The best way to deal with this is either having a good character to play against him, like a sniper class, sort of like Hela, or someone who can lock on him, like Scarlet Witch. He can be pretty easy to deal with. Now, speaking of Hela, let's move on to her. Hela is sort of like a Kiriko type of character. Not in the sense that she's a healer, more of like the attack method that she does, where she throws kunai-like daggers at enemies, where if you do straight-on headshots, you can easily just wipe out a whole team. Hela has to be one of the best design characters there is in this game, where your skill actually pays off. She's best on the high ground, as any sniper class would be, even though I wouldn't really consider her a sniper, even though she has sniper-like traits. Even if she does get attacked, she has a very quick and easy escape button that just lets her transform into a fucking bird, Harry Potter style.
Bird up.
And go off onto the distance. But if you really want to, you can go to the air as a bird with Hela, transfer back. And since Hela has a glide ability where she can just slowly fall into the ground, like feather falling Minecraft style, you can be a really hard target to hit and just fucking snipe people in the air. Now, as for like up close type of abilities, you can stun people with like this fucking green orb. And yeah, it's just a stun button. That's all it is. Now, for all yeah, it's good. It's good. Really high damage. You just go up into the air, stationary. Although you do go into first person, or I think this is the first time you'll ever be in first person, only with Hela. And all you have to do when you're using your ult is just shoot little shits onto people, and you'd really have to aim, since it does splash damage. So like, you'll be fine. Now, if you're using Hela with good positioning and very good teamwork, you can farm so many quick kills. It's mind-boggling. It's absolutely just mind-blowing. On from that, we have Black Panther. I'll be honest, I didn't really play him that much, only because I wasn't willing to work on his playstyle, since it didn't really suit me in a sense. I just couldn't get the gist of it. But from seeing gameplay of other people playing him, he looks really sick and fun to play. Like the combos people play with him, like I honestly just can't keep up with what they're doing. But the only thing what I remember about playing about him, his ult is fucking garbage. It's atrocious. It's just terrible. Yeah, that's all I gotta say about Black Panther. Now on to another character I haven't really played. We got Namor. Yeah, Namor. Now Aquaman. I mean Namor. He's there. Yeah, he's just there. I'm pretty sure he's the character that puts down the octopuses that are like just turrets and shoot at people. But that's all I remember about him.
Yeah, that's really about it.
So yeah.
You tripping, bro? You tripping?
Now the Scarlet Witch. Yeah, Scarlet Witch. Now Scarlet Witch is she is just Moira. She is copy paste Moira. Yeah, they literally just plucked Moira out of Overwatch, changed her up a bit. Marvel Rivals. That's it. Almost the same attacks, same movements, same abilities, just Moira. And I had the same opinion about Moira as I do Scarlet Witch. I fucking hate people who play. But I do gotta say though, her team up with Magneto is fucking amazing. Just amazing. What? Star-Lord is a fucking very, 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 very fun character to play. Very good. Now, in Overwatch terms, Star-Lord is a flying tracer. That is it, just a flying tracer where instead of teleporting, you're just quickly dodging. But the fun thing about Star-Lord is that he's able to fly in the air, not really hover, just fly with his rocket boots. He also has this one ability that really reminds me of the Imp if you ever played Plants vs. Zombies Garden Warfare 2. I fucking love that game. Where you just spin mid-air and just start shooting in all directions. It's essentially just a hands-free, free kill mode. But as far as ult, he just steals Soldier 76's ult, but he could just fly in the air.
What?
You just get auto aim. That's it. You just get auto aim and just fucking shoot people in the air like goddamn Jesus Christ. Now, we got Storm. Now, Storm is another one of the constantly flying characters, like Iron Man. But she has this fun twist where she has two different modes to switch between. A mobility and a damage mode. Or a mobility it's in the name. You just move quickly when you're in that certain mode, in a damage mode where it powers up your abilities and you're just fucking able to shoot people with more damage. But on top of that, you also have an ability that enhances the ability that you're on currently. But its main use is typically the damage mode, where when you enhance your abilities in damage mode, you're basically just a fucking thunderstorm cloud, or people under you are getting damaged by fucking lightning strikes. And instead of your primary abilities being air slashes, it's now lightning bolts. You may call that broken, but her ult, holy fucking shit. The amount of times people spam her ult in every single one of my matches I've had her on, it's just too fucking many. It's also fucking broken. It's almost like Doomfist, where you just go up in the air, choose where you want to land, and the place where you choose to slam him down is where it damages other players. But instead, you become this fucking tornado that just damages everyone. Like, the radius, it's too big. It's actually just too fucking big, and it damages a lot. Like, it's too much. It's too much.
They couldn't weather the snow. Happy to help.
Like, please, nerf that fucking ult. Now onto Magic with the K. She can be really fun to play with, I'll be honest. She is very fun with her teleporting and her movement style. And if you know how to use them simultaneously, you can pull off really sick combos. She's one of the few best melee up close type of characters there is in this game, where you can't predict her next move because she can literally just teleport anywhere she wants. Well, it's not really teleporting, just wormholing a couple feet away, but can still be really fun to play. I mean, she even has her own range ability where she just charges up her sword and just slashes it, and the power of her slash just fucking zooms into the character that she's aiming at, and it does pretty decent damage, I won't lie. Can be useful for like a good combo. Now for her ult, we kind of have a Penny Parker situation here, where she just enhances her abilities, but she's just as vulnerable as she would be. But if you're fighting her solo one-on-one, she can kill you. But yeah, Magic is a really fun character to play as. Just give her a try when the game comes out eventually. And yeah. Now we have the amazing Spider-Man. If you were to tell me that you didn't pick Spider-Man as your first character in this game, I know your ass is lying. Even if that thing said that was a 5-star hardest character to play as, you still picked him anyways, which is the same in my case. Yeah, his first character to play as was finding him pretty hard to play as. Was sort of expecting a Spider-Man PS4 type of gameplay with him, but yeah, I sort of embarrassed myself.
Stings, doesn't it? Ooh, you were an embarrassment. Gonna cry?
Now I got another story for you. So I was playing quick play as I would normally, trying to learn these new characters. This one guy on the enemy team, he's playing Spider-Man. He fucking humbles every single one of my teammates, including me. And it just made me want to learn Spider-Man because I wasn't aware of all these fucking combos and shit that this guy was doing to us. So yeah, I spent the time trying to learn him. And to be honest, I wouldn't really consider myself a pro at playing Spider-Man, but I understand now what kind of character he is. And the kind of character he is he's a troll. Very much a troll character. You're gonna be turning to Bully Maguire, just fucking coming out of nowhere, whipping up people, practically insta-killing certain characters, putting dirt in enemies' eyes.
I'm gonna put some dirt in your eye.
Not paying your rent.
Give me rent.
You'll get your rent when you fix this damn
All that type of shit. And it gets even better when you pair it up with Venom. But in all seriousness, Spider-Man is a very troll character, and your job is essentially just to pick off people one by one.
I seem to be wounded.
You're able to swing through the map at fucking Mach 5 speed. You're able to web up people, web them in, web to them, uppercut them into the sky, punch, kick, flip, web out, rinse and repeat. And with this all, you're webbing up people with high damage all around you. And yeah, Spider-Man's really crazy to play as.
See you, chump.
And that's all of the current damage characters done and dealt with. But moving on from the duelists, now we're into the strategists, aka the healers. Now pretty much all of the healer class type of characters are pretty much the exact same, where their role is just to heal, although there are some caveats into their playstyle, such as their way of healing or giving out damage to their enemies. But just to start off, let's go off with Rocket Raccoon. At the start of the beta, Rocket was the smallest character out of everybody up until Jab came in. But Rocket can be a really hard character to keep track and take down, mostly because of his movement style and the way how he can hide behind certain characters. mostly by dashing around with his ability that makes him give just a little rocket boost. But as for his healing method, all he really does is just shoot yellow balls or orbs of fucking healing, which just heals anyone who's near or around them, including himself. But as for his attack, it's just a simple minigun that you can use just to spray enemies. But as for his abilities, he has to have one of the best abilities there is out there. And the one I'm talking about is where Rocket can just put down a station that just puts out little armor pickups. But the best part about it is that when someone on your team dies, they can revive full health on that station. That is absolutely game changing. With great teamwork, if you coordinate right with like a really good tank, you can just keep on pushing on the enemy team without repercussions, since you can just come back to life like that, just easily. But that isn't to say that there is a cooldown to that ability. You do need to wait like a hefty long amount of time just to get that back, but it's really good to have since it's basically the only good revive ability there is, unlike Adam Warlock, which I'll talk about soon. But what I find really cool about Rocket is how they implement his animal-like behaviors, like being able to climb on the wall and just run across it, which just gives him another way of maneuvering around the map. But aside from that, we also have his team-up abilities, which I have talked about with Gru and how he's able to get on top of his head, and also with the Punisher and how he's able to put down a little station that just gives the Punisher infinite ammo to shoot. But now onto his ult, it's decent. Yeah, it does something. It's just like another type of station where he puts it down and all your teammates around you get like a slight buff. But yeah, it's cool. But moving on from Rocket, we have the God of Mischief, Loki. What can I just say? The finale to Loki Season 2? Fucking amazing. I'll be honest, this is another one of the characters I haven't really played, only because he sort of confuses me. Yeah, he really does confuse me. He's like this type of character where you just put down a clone, and when it becomes a clone, it's just like a turret where he just shoots at enemy players. But at will, you can just swap into that character and just put down a clone of yourself where you are right now. So what you're trying to do is just put down as many Loki clones as you can, and when you're in danger, you can just swap it to a different Loki. But aside from that, I really don't really understand his playing style. I mean, I do. I just don't think I'm able to fully grasp it. But the one character he does remind me of from Overwatch is Echo. So when Loki uses ult, he's just able to transform into, I'm pretty sure, one of the enemy characters, and he can just use all their abilities and all their ults. So yeah, it's just an Echo. Now on from Loki, we have Mantis.
I am hideous?
You are horrifying to look at, yes.
For some reason, everyone's saying that Mantis is the best healer there is in this game. I can see why, but I wouldn't really call her the best that there is. But her way of healing is very unique, where Mantis shoots life energy into her teammates, but that isn't like instant HP, it's just health regeneration, where you don't have to constantly keep holding a button down just to heal them, where you just throw it onto your teammate and don't have to worry about them, but you can also give it onto your other teammates. So basically everyone on your team can just constantly keep regenerating health. But one of her other cool abilities is being able to give a damage boost to her teammates and herself. But not just that, you can also just stun enemies like how Mantis would in like Infinity War and in Guardians 2. Where she just sedates people. But now that I'm realizing I haven't really talked about her attack method, her primary way of damaging enemies is pretty much the same as Hela, where Mantis shoots like thorns onto people, and they're like average amount of damage. Not like Hela amounts of damage, but it's a good way of attacking. But as for her ult, it's a copy paste of another one of the support characters, but that isn't to say that it's not good. I'm just saying it's similar, where Mantis releases her aura onto her teammates. That gives her teammates and her aura constant healing and a slight movement boost, which is the same to another character, that being Luna Snow. Luna feels very similar to Mantis, where they both have very quick movement and have pretty much the same method of attack. But the difference between Mantis and Luna Snow is where Mantis has to use a different button to heal. In Luna's case, using your attack is the same as healing, and it can be pretty easy when all you have to do is just hold down one button. But the difference with her is in her abilities. One of her best abilities is where she enhances her attacks, where it both heals her and does massive amounts of damage to the enemy. But as I stated before, both her and Mantis' ults are basically the same, except in Luna's case, she has two different modes to switch between, one of them being healing and the other being attack. In my case, I prefer the healing more over the attack, because at that point it makes everybody invulnerable unless someone else does her ult and then fucking kills everyone. But besides that, she's one of my favorites. Oh, and she also has a team of ability with Aquaman. Now from Luna Snow, we have Adam Warlock. I love his design so much. It really gives him justice compared to the Guardians 3 design, which, I mean, I like that he's in the movie, just, he's a bit silly looking. Where in this game, he looks a lot more mightier and fucking powerful, like an actual force to reckon with. Adam in this game is sort of a little bit of a Zenyatta, but a lot better at healing, where he can heal basically all of his teammates with just one snap. But he also has something cool where he can distribute the damage giving across all of his teammates and make it so everyone's like at an equal level of healing or overall health. Where when you use that and then you heal, it makes it a lot easier to get everyone back up to 100. But how he relates to Zenyatta is the way of how he attacks, where he can just shoot one by one, or he can just gather up all of his ammo supply thingies. It just releases it on one onslaught attack. Now where I find him really cool as a character is his ult can just respawn everyone that died, but there is a big but to that. Everyone is at 100 HP, which is basically one shot. So you want to make sure you just keep spamming that fucking healing button. You just keep on... Yeah, just keep on doing that. But for our final character, we have Jeff the Land Shark. This little motherfucker right here. He is the cutest little shit you'll ever see in this game. So what this little guy does, he can go into the ground as if he's swimming, sort of like Splatoon style, if anyone still plays that game.
Damn, Daniel!
It's basically his fast travel method of, moving around the map. But it doesn't mean he's invulnerable when he's down in the ground swimming. He's just a lot much harder to hit. But besides that, we also have his bubbles, which is one of his methods of healing his teammates, where he just blows out little bubbles onto the ground for his teammates to pick up, including himself. But he can also spray like a jet stream of water to his teammates that constantly heals them up. And oh man, the good Jeff players, they fucking save my life every time they're fucking spraying that water onto me. I'm gonna go. But as for his attack, it's just a simple splash damage type of attack where he just spits out this huge clumps of water and it does decent amounts of damage. Now onto his ult, Jeff gets into the ground as if he's swimming, but he has this huge radius where he can either just pick up teammates or enemies, where when he picks up his teammates, he eats them up, has them in his mouth, and just consistently keeps on healing them. But when he picks up his enemies, he's constantly hurting them, and he can choose where to spit them out. 9 times out of 10, a Jeff player would just spit you onto the fucking abyss where there's no ground and there's no way to get yourself back up. But if you are a flying type of character, Jeff will most likely just take the both of you guys out.
Maximum pump!
So I have to point towards the ground. Bernardia!
But to me, Jeff is very much a troll support character, which is most emphasized by his overall design, a cuteness factor. Yeah, he's just a cute little shit. Now that is the end of every single one of the characters currently in Marvel Rivals.
I missed the part where that's my problem.
But as for my final thoughts, some characters will need reworking and a lot of balancing issues need to be addressed, especially with Storm. Please, for the love of God, nerf her ult. And I'll say this again, the art style of this game is so fabulous. Every single one of the maps look beautiful to look at. There is so much life built into these maps, and I cannot wait for more of these maps to come out. I really want like a New York inspired type of map where like in the background you have Stark Tower and then the fucking Daily Bugle over there with goddamn Jane Jonah Jameson just shaking his fist out at Spider-Man. And then we're gonna get a Fortnite map, including with building, cranking 90s, full boxing people, hitting the gritty. But no, yeah, I really want this game to succeed. This game is so much fun to play with. Like I've actually enjoyed an actual game for like one of the first times ever, and it's because of this game. It has the best and one of my favorite IPs there is, with all the personality and charm to the characters. But is this going to be the Overwatch killer? I don't know. I guess we'll just have to wait and see. If they do play their cards right, I could see this game going to the fucking esports type of leagues with high ass cash prizes. And hey, I might actually be compelled into getting into the competitive side of this game, learning all the ins and outs of each character and shredding so much fucking ass. Hey, so thanks for watching the video. I won't lie, I've been procrastinating on this video, and it took me until now to finish editing. So if you please could subscribe, please subscribe. I want money.
I need that money.